Richard Pestes is joining us now from the Pez Cycling News blog. Talk more about this. Richard, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Steve. Good to be here.
What was your reaction?
My initial reaction was a little bit of sadness, but I mean, the bottom line for me was I'm glad this thing's finally coming to an end. It's been, from the perspective of cyclists and cycling fans, people that are involved in the sport, this thing has been dragging on way too long. Most of us are thinking to ourselves, wow, this thing should have been done and wrapped up years ago, which is part of what Lance's argument has been. And we're like, you know what? The culture of cycling and using enhancing products back in the 90s was much different than we all believe it is today, and then we've seen evidence that it's certainly cleaned up. Back in the days, the 90s, when Lance is being accused of all this stuff, honestly, the playing field was really level. Yeah, all kinds of guys were on this stuff, and one of the jokes going around the chat rooms and stuff is, if they take Lance's titles away from him, who are they going to give them to? The guy that finished 25th in the Tour, so wow, we're glad to see it's finished.
Richard, Jay Durant here. I mean, I guess Lance had to know that it would come to this point. He put up a good fight, but the evidence was overwhelming. USADA is obviously not going to leave any stone unturned. It was really another line for him, wasn't it?
I kind of feel like that too. I think he was probably looking at everything around him. I've met Lance a couple times. I've had the opportunity to ride my bike with him, and he's a smart guy. Not anyone that sort of listens to him and watches him. He's a gifted athlete. He's a very smart guy. So he's taking a look at this stuff, and he's probably figuring out to himself, man, what's the least amount of pain that's going to happen to me? How can I get out of this with the least amount of this being more besmirching and smudging of my character, and how much more is this going to go on? Let's cut our losses and get out of this thing as quickly as we can.
Richard, where does this put Lance Armstrong now, considering, his story is still amazing, coming back from cancer to win, but those titles are now stripped. He does a lot of fundraising, obviously, for his Live Strong and his cancer research. Where does this put him now as far as the ability to continue doing what he's doing and fighting things like cancer?
I think, honestly, I don't think it's going to change much of what he's doing. I think he's built the Live Strong Foundation into a massive brand of its own. The people that helps, and the lives he's sort of helped save and change, those people don't care about cycling so much. They don't care about his Tour de France titles. They care that, a person who they know who's got cancer might not die, and that's the thing that's important to them. So the Lance Armstrong Foundation will continue. Lance is going to be fine out of this thing. This is a classic story we see in American media all the time. I think, especially in America, they love somebody to fall down and get drowned into the dirt and then rise again. Lance has risen from the ashes a couple of times now. There's no reason he can't do it again. In fact, he's probably going to come back in a week. Everyone's going to have forgotten about this thing, and he'll be bigger and stronger than ever.
All right, Richard, thanks very much. We appreciate your insight into this. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Well, there you go.
There you go.